Okay, today we're going to touch base on following up to a comment that was left on yesterday's video from Marche. So it would be a disservice for me not to include all of the community's concerns when it comes to her. So we're going to go over that a little bit today. I think personal experience, I can go back for myself to our last game where scores were posted on the league Facebook page, but she never got the score for the JV team. She never reached out to us and ever asked for any of that information. Even if we didn't score any points, our kids on our team are just as important as every other child in that league. And with the way she conducts herself, my opinion is that she always favors the teams that her own children are involved in. And then she was having such a grand time being so petty towards my family that she then left our team out of that and posted, like actually made a document with the two other teams' scores on them, purposefully leaving JV out of it. And then another person affiliated to the league went and commented the score for JV on that post. And then that post got deleted completely and she never put anything else up. You've all seen her do things at all the different youth organizations where she runs their social media. She favors the teams that her kids are involved in. And then she leaves out or does like a really shoddy job of putting up stats on the other teams. And she would like, if you're a member of the board, then your team's important too. But if you're just a parent in the league or you don't have a member affiliated, you don't matter. It's really weird. More recently, so we put our video up on the 9th, right? On the 10th, I get a message request from her. And she said to me, hey, quick question. At your shop, do you guys do payment plans of any kind? My friend hit a deer and only had liability, so her insurance won't cover. You literally just spent the last 24 hours running your mouth about me to people, and I have receipts. Like, I have all the messages they sent me of the screenshots of things that you said, where you then are talking about how, like, I contradicted myself to make it seem like Chuck and I are innocent and that we care about the children. We do care about the children. Why would I be putting my name on the line? Why would Chuck be putting his name on the line when we are involved in so many things in this community? When our names are in the public because we own our own business, why would I spend the time and energy going into all of this if we weren't doing it for the children? Then she comments on my YouTube video from yesterday. I don't want to have communication with you. We don't need to have conversations. I don't move with energy like that anymore, so it's not going to happen, okay? I'm going to lay facts out, and people are going to use their discernment, and they're going to use their experience with you, and they're going to form their own opinion. And if that makes you mad or makes you feel bad things about yourself, then maybe it's time to take a step back and do a little bit of self-reflection and see what you could do to improve yourself as an individual. Okay. Then you also say that Jordan's not going to be on the board now. He's withdrawing his application apparently so that you can stay and he can coach. You didn't talk about the rest of what I addressed yesterday though. There was more than just that. So maybe you want to leave a comment today and let everybody know the truth of what your plan is for the rest of the people that you guys are planning to involve. So one really important fact that people need to be aware of is there are 5 voting people left on this board since the president and the vice president resigned. You have Michelle Petro as secretary, Joe Cato as treasurer, Brian Phelps as safety officer, Mandy Ott as trustee, and Marche Bowens as trustee. Those are the 5 people who will vote people on for the next board. If you watched the video from yesterday, I laid out all of the information that's been swirling around, and I gave my opinion on things. Piece things together for yourself and form your own opinion if you would. Because really, truly, people need to be aware of what's happening so that you can step in and play your part now to kind of try to maybe fix this organization for our children. Because that is, after all, what we're here for. We are helping to develop children into being the best version of themselves. It's not just about football. It's not just about cheer. There's so much more to all of this than that. And if we don't have good leadership in those spots, we can't get them there. I think it's really important that we talk a little bit about bylaws because a lot of people, they just don't know them. You know, if you never run a board, you haven't had a reason to understand how they work, what they even are. There's a lot of terminology used in them that can make it super confusing. I have a lot of experience with bylaws, so it's fairly easy for me to skim over something and make sense of things because of that. So I want to go over some of it because there's just so many things that aren't being followed that need to be followed. And I think we all know now that these rules have to be in place because some of us may have the integrity to do well without them, but not everyone does. First, I need you to know these bylaws are not strong enough and they need to be revamped by somebody who knows what they're doing with them from the very first line all the way to the end. We believe that every player matters and that sports are an extension of the classroom. I think I can fairly say that everybody is aware that I do not agree that the current board has been following that right there. That's the specific purpose. First line of the specific purpose. Our mission is to provide knowledgeable, skill-based coaching that promotes excellence on and off the field. We are dedicated to fostering good citizenship, teaching the values of teamwork, discipline, and respect while creating a positive environment for our learning and growth. I need you to understand the disconnect between the league and the community is the board that's been running it for the past several years. Okay. I think you all know that. And I wish that you would all step forward and publicly admit things as well, because we can't make a difference unless we all work together. We don't have to be friends, but we have to get where we need to be so that we can take care of our children collectively. We aim to help players develop both as athletes and as individuals. Our goal is to create lifelong memories and fulfill the spirit of an Edgewood warrior, strengthening character, building leadership, and inspiring greatness for life. I'm not sure why that's in there. I honestly think it's a little bit confusing because BCMFL, WYFL isn't affiliated to the district. So the way that that's worded is just kind of weird for me. I really think the most important part I'm trying to get to is like standards of affiliation. You know, having documents in place, conflict of interest, ethics and code of conduct. There's nothing like this, and clearly there needs to be, you know, because without it, like it's kind of just a free-for-all, and they think that it can be because, well, they're on the board so they can do whatever they want, right? So I think one of the really important things that needs to be addressed is putting together a conflict of interest and an ethics and code of conduct. And I'm going to use Marche as an example for this, okay? So she said in the post that she is the social media person for the league, okay? If she is the social media person for the league and she is leaving comments like, Jefferson Black is trash this year, laugh out loud, of course y'all were gonna win, on a post of a parent from another league saying that they're coming for the championship this year. Jefferson Black is trash this year, okay? She's the social media person for our organization. And she is conducting herself like that on her own social media, okay? So ethics and code of conduct policy. It should be something along the lines of recognizing the chief function of the league is to serve the best interest of the youth, okay? Being knowledgeable about bylaws, policies, procedures, programs, finances, and management. complying with bylaws, policies, and procedures, abiding by and supporting publicly all positions and decisions of the organization, prioritizing organizational goals over personal goals at all times, conduct all organizational operational duties with competence, fairness, honesty. You should be using discretion, sensitivity, sound judgment in discussing anything related to not just our league, but every league that's within the FYFL, because we're all affiliated with each other, okay? The fact that she was allowed to sit in a position being in control of our social media, when that's how she's conducting herself on her personal social media, is a true embarrassment for everybody involved in BCMFL, WYFL. Parents need to be aware. Parents need to say, that's wrong, and we want better than that, because she's the face of everybody. If she's the one who's putting the information out, even if she's not doing a great job of getting it all out, she's the one putting the information out. She needs to conduct herself in a professional manner in all aspects that have her name on it, because she's affiliated to all of us who are involved in this league. So on November 15th, there was a post shared on the league Facebook page, board members needed. We went over this, 4 open seats, right? So then this was shared by a parent in the league, right? And then Marche commented on it and said, join us. And this person questioned why all the big positions were available. And she said, you can join and not take a big position. That's what the trustee position is. This next comment is just so perfect. I mean, realistically, they're all kind of a big deal, being the league is supposed to be a sports league for children. Just seems odd to have every position open at once. That's what the person who posted this said, okay? Marche said, well, yeah, but like some are bigger than others, laugh out loud. My role is social media, not really as big of a deal as the president or treasurer. Let's talk about this a little bit. Every position on that board is a big deal. Everybody from the president down to a coach at any level, whether they're an assistant, the mentors, everybody is important. Every position in this league is important, okay? If you have a trustee who's claiming that their job is social media, that's not your job. Maybe you don't understand the bylaws. Maybe you don't understand what you signed up for, because there is not a position to be social media. There's a position to be a trustee. And trustees should be doing the same kind of work that everybody else is doing and ensuring that the league is operating properly. You should be doing checks and balances. Every single one of you should. Everybody involved should. Parents who aren't even on the board should be doing that to ensure we don't end up in a situation like we're in right now. To ensure that everybody is doing what they agreed to do the way that it's laid out in the rules and regulations of the organization. And nobody was doing that. And parents don't know how to get involved. And they think because somebody's on a board, like they shouldn't say anything because they don't want their kids to catch flack. If you don't say anything, there's not anywhere for your kids to catch flack at, is there? You don't need to be afraid. We are the adults. We are the ones who are running the community for our children at this point. We are the ones who have to speak when something needs said. We are the only ones who can make things right, do right by our children, and give them the best experience possible in everything we decide to involve them in. Don't ever be afraid to talk. Don't ever be afraid to ask questions. And if it comes to the point that you ask questions and somebody from a board or a coach is then trying to slight you in any way, find somebody like me who isn't afraid to ask why. Because I'll ask why for every kid. I don't care where they come from. I don't care who their parents are. I don't care what my relationship is like with those parents. If you have a need for your child, find me. I'll make sure your kid is taken care of. I will find an avenue for whatever you need to ensure your child is taken care of, because that's what I'm here for. And there's never going to be another day where somebody like Marche is going to question that with me. Ever. Everybody who matters knows who I am, what I represent, what I do. The behind the scenes work that I do that people don't know about, but they just chatter all the time, making it out like I'm a bad person. You don't know me to have an opinion of me, but I also do not care what your opinion is, because you are entitled to that. Okay? Let's see what else we have. Okay, so in that same post from November 15th on the league Facebook page, they put up a meeting agenda. Normal business meeting, new old business, elections will open. Closed meeting after nominations, so current board can vote new members on. That should never be done in a closed meeting. No, that's public information. That's the board who will be conducting business on behalf of our community. That meeting should not be closed. And the fact that anybody thinks it's okay to close that meeting is also very weird. Okay. And then all new board members will stay and vote on their positions for the 2026 season. Those are basically the same thing. They want to close the meeting, get rid of the public so nobody's in the way of whatever it is they're trying to put together. I don't even know what to say anymore because I'm so baffled at all the facts that just keep falling in my lap, showing that the things that I kind of thought might be happening are happening